following reading is from How to Transform Your Life, A Blissful Journey by Geshe Kelsang Gyatso. Meaningful objects. Any object that, through our understanding of it, gives us great meaning, is a meaningful object. To solve our human problems and to enable us to find everlasting peace and happiness, we should first know what is the real nature of our problems and what are their main causes. Our problems do not exist outside our mind. The real nature of our problems is our unpleasant feelings, which are part of our mind. When our car, for example, has a problem, we often say, "I have a problem." But in reality, it is not our problem, but the car's problem, which is an outer problem. Our problem is an inner problem. By differentiating between inner and outer problems in this way, we can understand that the real nature of our problems is our own feelings, which are part of our mind. All our problems, our unpleasant feelings, come from our delusions of attachment and self-grasping ignorance. Therefore, these delusions are the main causes of our problems. We have strong attachment to the fulfillment of our own wishes, and for this aim, we work very hard throughout our life, experiencing many difficulties and problems. When our wishes are not fulfilled, we experience unhappiness and depression, which often causes us to become angry, creating more problems for both ourselves and others. We can understand this clearly through our own experience. When we lose our friends, job, status or reputation and so forth, we experience pain and many difficulties. This is because of our strong attachment to these things. If we had no such attachment, there would be no basis for experiencing suffering and problems at their loss. Due to strong attachment to our own views, we immediately experience the inner problem of unpleasant feelings when someone opposes them. This causes us to become angry, which leads to arguments and conflicts with others. And this, in turn, gives rise to further problems, such as those arising from fighting and even war. Most political problems experienced throughout the world are caused by people with strong attachment to their own views. Many problems are also caused by people's attachment to their religious views. In previous lives, because of our attachment to fulfilling our own wishes, we performed many different actions that harmed other living beings. As a result of these actions, we now experience many different problems and sufferings in our life. If we look with wisdom in the mirror of our mind, we can see how our attachment, anger, and especially our self-grasping ignorance are the causes of all our problems and sufferings. We will definitely realize that unless we control these delusions, there is no other method to solve our human problems. Pure spiritual teachings, or Dharma, are the only method to control our delusions of attachment, anger, and self-grasping ignorance. If we sincerely put these teachings into practice, we will definitely solve our human problems and find the real meaning of our life. In general, everyone who has physical or mental pain, even animals, understands their own suffering. But what we really need to understand is the sufferings of our countless future lives. Through understanding this, we will develop a strong wish to liberate ourselves from them. This is important for everybody because if we have the wish to liberate ourselves from sufferings of future lives, we will definitely use our present human life for the freedom and happiness of our countless future lives. There is no greater meaning than this. If we do not have this wish, we will waste our precious human life only for the freedom and happiness of this one short life. This would be foolish, because our intention and actions would be no different from the intention and actions of animals who are concerned with this life alone. The great yogi Milarepa once said to a hunter called Gompo Dorji, "Your body is human, but your mind is that of an animal. You, a human being, who possess an animal's mind, please listen to my song." Usually we believe that solving the problems and sufferings of our present life is most important, and we dedicate our whole life for this purpose. In reality, the duration of the problems and sufferings of this life is very short. If we die tomorrow, they will end tomorrow. However, since the duration of the problems and sufferings of future lives is endless, the freedom and happiness of our future lives is vastly more important than the freedom and happiness of this one short life. We may have the sincere wish to avoid suffering permanently, but we never think to abandon our delusions. However, without controlling and abandoning our delusions, it is impossible to attain permanent liberation from suffering and problems. This is because delusions, principally self-grasping ignorance, are the source of all of our suffering and the main cause of all of our problems. First, we should recognize that the principal delusion is our self-grasping, which always abides at our heart, destroying our inner peace. Its nature is a wrong awareness that mistakenly believes ourself and others to be truly or inherently existent. This is an ignorant mind, because in reality things do not exist inherently. They exist as mere imputations. Because the foolish mind of self-grasping believes or grasps at I, mine, and all other phenomena as truly existent, we develop attachment to those things we like and hatred for those we do not like. We then perform various actions that harm other living beings, and as a result, we experience various sufferings and problems throughout this life and in life after life. This is the fundamental reason why we experience so many problems. Because our sense of truly existent I and mine is so strong, our self-grasping also acts as the basis of all our daily problems. Self-grasping can be likened to a poisonous tree, other delusions to its branches, and all our sufferings to its fruits. It is the fundamental source of all other delusions and all our suffering and problems. Understanding this, we should apply great effort to recognize, reduce, and finally abandon this ignorance completely. We know that generally, from time to time, everybody experiences a temporary cessation of particular sufferings. For instance, those who are physically healthy are experiencing a temporary cessation of sickness. However, this is not enough because it's only temporary. Later, they will have to experience the suffering of sickness again and again, in this life and in countless future lives. Every living being, without exception, has to experience the cycle of the sufferings of sickness, aging, death, and rebirth in life after life, endlessly. Following Buddha's example, we should develop strong renunciation for this endless cycle of suffering. When Buddha was living in the palace with his family, He saw how his people were constantly experiencing these sufferings, and he made the strong determination to attain enlightenment, the supreme, permanent cessation of suffering, and to lead every living being to this state. Buddha did not encourage us to abandon daily activities that provide necessary conditions for living, or that prevent poverty, environmental problems, particular diseases, and so forth. However, no matter how successful we are in these activities, we will never achieve permanent cessation of such problems. We will still have to experience them in our countless future lives, and even in this life, although we work very hard to prevent these problems, the sufferings of poverty, environmental pollution, and disease are increasing throughout the world. Furthermore, because of the power of modern technology, there are now many great dangers developing in the world that have never been experienced before. Therefore, we should not be satisfied with a merely temporary freedom from particular sufferings, but apply great effort to attaining permanent freedom while we have this opportunity.